Hello, my name is Will, and this is a reading wrap-up. It's been a hot minute of books, as you guys can see. I'm pleased, but there they are. So we're going to start at the top and work our way down. Before we get started with this, I just want to say hi, subscribe, like, and share this video as always. So let's get started. Mysterious Skin. This is a book I've read way too many times in my life. It's a charming story. It's about the fallout from two boys who were sexually abused by their coach. One boy ends up remembering everything in his life and the fallout, and the other boy thinks he was abducted by aliens. It sounds really absurd, but it's a charming book about healing, about confronting your past and dealing with it, and they deal with it in different ways. I love this book. I want to do a video about this book at some point, so yes. Echo Cycle. Think kind of Gladiator meets 1984 meets Brave New World. This is a really good book. I did a video about this book and no one watched it. So, yes. And I do keep the pub sheets with my books to use as bookmarks. I want to say that because they're extremely useful as bookmarks. I love this. If you want to know my full feelings about this book, please check out my review. Despite no one watching it, I'm really proud of it. So, and I love this. This is good. I loved Ruin's Wake as well. So he's a really good writer. And I can't wait for more from him. The Golden Key. Norfolk Fens, East Anglia, a little bit of folk tales and some dark magic. This is compelling. It's a really charming book, and they sent me this with it as well. Again, this is from Titan. Most of these, excluding the first one, are a few copies. Really good book, really strong book, but I would definitely give this a good 4 out of 5 if I was giving it a Goodreads rating. And a lot of people compared this to like Sarah Perry's The Essex Serpent, and I do agree with you there. It's that kind of mystery, though it's not as well written as The Essex Serpent, it's still a really good book. And if you like a good mystery with a little bit of history, oh, that rhymes, this is the one for you. I'm so happy I got to read this. Recoil. Where do we start with Recoil? Think Altered Carbon meets a film from a few years ago called Sunshine, with a little bit of Alien thrown in, and you've got it. This is a desolate, hard science fiction. It's so well written. I'm slightly obsessed with the cover, by the way. I just want that on my wall because I think it's gorgeous. But it's so good, and I was genuinely blown away by this. I read this in a weekend. This is dark. This is good hard science fiction. I like that. I needed something a bit dark and desolate to get my teeth into, and that's this book. On my Kindle, I read Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. I'm going to talk about that in another video, or you may have done it already. That's my weak link. That was not a good book. Like, the background characters were really good. The world was really interesting. But the main character is a fucking Lego brick. No personality, nothing. And just kind of crappy, to be honest. Sarah J. Maas is not a good writer, full stop. Although Crescent City is a massive step up for her, but she's still got a long way to go. Like, actually writing compelling characters would be a good start. The Good Hawk. Now, this was from Walker Books. They sent me this. This is a story of self-discovery, a bit of a coming-of-age story set against historical Isle of Skye in Scotland, with a touch of magical realism thrown in for good measure. This is a good YA. I'll put there so you can see the story, because actually I think it's a difficult one to explain because it kind of takes you on a lot of turns and tunnels. But you have this adventure of these two people discovering what's going on, how they are, who they are as you go. And it's just a really strong, well-written novel. And also a bit of history. I'm fascinated by this kind of era. But it all takes place across here. And it's just it's a charming book. Not my favourite out of the lot, but it's definitely up there in a good list. I enjoyed this for what it is. While it's not perfect, it will definitely take you on an adventure. Last year I read a book called Zero Bomb by M.T. Hill. I read his new book. The Breach. This is good. This is that kind of dystopian, heavy, hard science fiction again. This is a murder mystery, and it's basically taking apart someone's life. So someone ends up dead, obviously, and then it goes from there. This takes you on that journey, and it deconstructs the characters and the life they're surrounded by beautifully. This is intense, and I'm so glad I got to read this. Like, I couldn't put it down. And I got it the day after I filmed my book haul, by the way. The Breach is definitely up there. This is a spectacular novel. The Library of the Unwritten. Every book left unfinished by its author is filed away in the unwritten wing. A natural space in hell. Think demons, hell, magic. Gothic fiction with a touch of sarcasm. This is a really good book. I adore this. I actually couldn't put it down, and the hero escapes basically from hell with his books and goes in search for its author. And it's that journey. I couldn't put it down. I mean, maybe, again, it's not the strongest book, and it did have some pacing issues in the middle. But you know what? Keep going past those kind of slow bits, because it's worth it, especially at the end, because the payoff is so good. I can't wait to read more by this writer. I can't wait to get... Titan, you keep doing this, by the way. And The Big Boy. I'm going to do a video about this book on its own, but I thought I would talk about it here and now in one big thing. Mermaid Moon. This is a gorgeous book. This is a YA fantasy, obviously about mermaids. I have a weakness for mermaids. It's a rather pretty book, as you can see. I'm going to do a video about cover artists, because they're really underrated, and a lot of people think the cover is to do with the writer, and I would like to say 9 times out of 10... writers don't have any say in their covers. This is a marketing decision. This is a gorgeous book. You have to imagine... I want to read more by the writer as well. I just want to say that. Like, I've looked up her other books on Goodreads, and I'm like, yeah, just send them to me, please. This is a story that will pull you in and keep you going. I don't want to say too much about the plot of this, because the problem with this book is if you give away minor plot details, it actually gives away quite big things towards the end. Oh, this is worth it. This is so worth reading. It's a gorgeous book, and I love mermaids full stop. Splash is one of my favourite movies. So, but I have like books on mythology, so if you get me with mermaids, you'll get me with this. I'm going to put that there for the synopsis, so if you guys want to read it. But you know what? This is definitely up there on one of my favourite books this year so far. I'm not kidding with that. So I'm going to talk about this more in depth in another video, because I think it needs to be. So, as always, my name is Will. I'm the Bald Book Geek. I do videos every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. And if you guys want to like and subscribe, please do. I will talk to you guys later, and tell me what you think in the comments below, as always. Bye, guys.